On today's episode, we are going to be creating one of the most iconic buildings in Galaxy's Edge. This is Building Batuu. Bright suns, Brick fans, and welcome back to another episode of Building Batuu. I'm BRICKMAD Sam, and on today's episode, we are going to start building the Spaceport Tower. Yes, probably one of the most iconic buildings in Galaxy's Edge, next to the Millennium Falcon, of course, and the entrance to the Smuggler's Run ride. So this one is going to be pretty exciting and is really going to start bringing the mock together. There's plenty going on the channel, so if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any content coming up. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video, and just a quick reminder that the BRICKMAD Sam contest, the mock contest for this year, is still running, and the entries will close on September 15, so plenty of time to jump in and still get some entries in. The link is above, and I will leave a link in the description below as well. But let's not delay, let's hit that hyperdrive and jump straight into building the spaceport. Okay, so here we are over at the build. I'm going to jump around a little bit today, but I'm going to start off with some prototypes for this area over here, which is the tower area for the spaceport. We're going to start off there and we're going to see how that goes. I'm probably going to start off with the same style that I used on Docking Bay 7 and also on that over there, which is Dock Ondas, which is a kind of hinge method. So I'm going to try that, but I'm going to do it at a smaller interval. So this one was 6 by 1 interval. Dock Ondas was, I believe, a 6. It's actually not round. It's like a 6 by 1, and then the doorway is a bit wider. But then I've got this one, which I think I'll probably try it around about a 4, a 4 by brick interval with hinges, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're gonna start off there, and then we're gonna jump over to some other things. But let's see how we go. Okay, so here it is, the little prototype that I've built. It's only a very, very small piece of the prototype, but I just wanted to get this in here because the main part is just starting the door. This is obviously 4 by brick, so I think the interval is about right for the size that I've got for this shape, being that this was kind of roughly what we were going to do. So I think that's going to work. And you can see here I've tested out some of the colors that I want to do. So predominantly the sand, but I also wanted to include some of these sort of orangey yellow in here because there is some definitely some sort of painted stripes through that. So that's going to work. I'm going to also try and add into this one in particular, into the gaps. I'm going to try and add some cheese slopes just to really fill in the gaps for this one. So as it sort of goes up, it's got a really closed in kind of feeling to it. Yeah, I'm going to start working now on just collecting some more of the pieces, and then it will probably drop into a time lapse of building some more of the towers. Alright, so this should be a good opportunity, I thought, to have a bit of a status update. I've just got kind of it worked out now so you can really see the width of what this thing's going to look like against some of the others. So I'm still looking to really push this height right up to sort of about here. Just want to have it just peeking over the top of this by the time the little dome goes on. But I think generally that's looking pretty good. I just wanted to, again, just stop for a second, get it over to the build, make sure it kind of worked in this side. You can see how I've worked in that, that orangey yellow there, and I'm actually going to work in a special little sign here, which will have the kind of Smuggler's Run on it. That may be a little custom print that I do, or I may do a brick build. Brick build would probably be a little bit cooler, so I'm going to work on that too. But also I've just got to finish off the rest of those pillars, and I'm going to sort of build it, try and get it up to about the same height, so at least we can stop for this episode at that height. And then I will be jumping over to show you some of the other things that I've been working on during the live, which have been over there. But yeah, for now I'm just going to jump over and kind of fill up those things, and I'll be back in a jiffy. Alright, so I'm just going to stop here for a little bit because I've realized that I'm not that happy with just how wide this front section is. Even though I want to have the doorway be that wide, it was kind of tricky to get that at an angle. So what I'm going to look at doing is actually I'm going to split this section in half and actually have it on a another hinge plate here. So basically it will continue that sort of circular kind of thing that's going on in this section. So yeah, I'm gonna attempt to do that. I'm kind of running out of time a little bit because I did have a short week still coming back from holidays, and I'm hoping to still get a update out this week. So I'm going to give it a go, and then we'll see where I get to. This little section here, just another note, I'm actually going to run some flex tube through this. When you have a look at the reference video, you can, or the reference image, you can definitely see that there is a kind of pretty definitive kind of tubing that goes around here. So I'm going to kind of add that in, but generally I'm kind of liking the look of how the tower is looking, other than the fact that this is kind of too flat across the front. So yeah, I'm going to jump into that now. I just thought I'd stop and give you guys a little bit of an update, and then yeah, so hopefully I can get onto that pretty quick. All right, so there you go. I've split that little part at the center, and I think that's working a lot better. It looks a lot sort of rounder. Definitely gonna have to work out something for these gaps at the front, whether or not I put some slopes or something like that in there. But I'm gonna just keep building up the rest of the tower and try and get a bit more height on it before the end of the episode. So back into the time lapse. Here is the finished tower for today. Unfortunately, my phone didn't work for the time lapse, so you'll have to just make do with this little status update, unfortunately. So the time lapse obviously failed, but there you go. We'll be extending that right the way around to match up with that wall down there. But generally, I think this is working out pretty well. The main reason why I've actually stopped is because I've run out of the tan hinges to be able to join up these and make them strong the whole way along. But yeah, just some of the features. So obviously I've tried to create this sort of crack through the middle of it, which actually seems to exist in the reference as well. And this will actually have some wires and stuff running off it. Of course, I talked already about having the sort of tubing that runs right around here, and then some wires that'll sort of dangle off there. I am also going to add in a couple of dropped screens here with some times and things on there, and then I'm going to kind of make an interior here, which does actually kind of, so you can actually see into that area, but it kind of won't be anything too much. But yeah, that pretty much should give you a bit of an idea of how tall this thing's going to be. I'm thinking that it's probably going to come up another sort of about there, and then that will be the top of it there. So it's going to be quite large, but I think that in the overall build, I think it's really going to work pretty well with the heights that I've got, and still really stick out next to the Falcon. I think the size and scale works pretty well. So we'll just see how that goes, and it'll be nice to have this kind of back alley section where I can do some sort of work with the bounty hunters or something along those lines, and just have some sort of back alley deals and stuff that's going on. So that's pretty good. And now I'm just going to jump over to some other stuff that I've been doing with the layout, and also some builds that I've been doing on live that you may not have seen. So how I've basically changed this thing around is to have the first order base facing in this way, and then there will still be the platform for the TIE echelon to sit on, and also the milk stand is actually going to be in this section here. So this is going to be its own little courtyard, and Savvy's and that will be here with this sort of open edge sort of facing out that way. And then you'll walk through this way past the the spire that sort of is also the landing platform for the echelon. And then here will be the droid depot, which I have started working on and have been working on during live. So that's kind of how that's going to work. You can see the little workstations that I've been working on here, and also the caged area where BB-8 is. And this will actually sit kind of as a section on top here, and then have a whole bunch of parts kind of shifting around, dangling there, and then this is where the conveyor belt of all the parts will be. So that one's something that I have been working on for a little while on the live streams on Tuesdays or Mondays if you're in Europe and the US. So if you want to join along with those streams and see me finishing off building the rest of this, feel free to drop in. We'd really love to have you on the streams. But yeah, pretty much, guys, that is it for this week's episode. And we're really starting to get, obviously, you know, we've got a few buildings that are in the works here. This one's still waiting on parts. You know, being in Australia, they have to basically have the mice run a little bit harder to get the boats over here, I think, to get my parts. But those parts are still coming to finish off the souk market. I've got to get some more parts in for this tower here, and then also the big spire work. So I'm going to keep sticking with this section as much as I possibly can. And I may even start work on some of the flooring, which I do still have some parts for. So that's probably where I'm going to start off next week, and just finishing off the top section of this, and also potentially adding in some trees. Now I've got some of those really cool olive green plants that I managed to bring in, and I'm going to start building some cool trees for that as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week's episode, but let's bounce into the wrap up. Well, there you go, Brick fans. We have a start on the spaceport. I am pretty happy with how it's looking. There are a few little hinge pieces on that one that I am going to have to change out for sure to match in with the sand or tan color. But it is looking pretty good. I think I've got the sizing quite right. I'm going to have to work on the back, obviously, as well, and just meet it up with those back walls. But I'm very excited about the progress that we've made so far, and it's really, really bringing what I think is a really cool part of the MOC to life. Of course, I did have that little time-lapse issue that did cause a bit of a problem, so I do apologize for that. But there is so much still coming up on the channel, so please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. There are 2 lives coming up this week. Again, one will be on Batuu, which will be the Tuesday night. I'm actually going to shift to Wednesdays in Australia time, so that will be Tuesday for the US and UK. And then I'm also going to do a Friday stream, which will be more so on my factions or set builds and other fun things like that. So if you have any opportunity to jump into either of those streams, please do. I do enjoy having a good chat with you guys and getting some building done, so that would be great if you can join us. If not, of course, Building Batuu will be back next week, where I'm hoping to get a fair bit more progress done on that back section of the mock. One last reminder, of course, if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like. And the BRICKMAD mock contest is still running until September, as I said at the start of the video. So please, if you haven't checked that one out already and you'd like to enter, please check out the link above or the description below. And I'm looking forward to seeing what all of you guys cook up very soon. But that's all for today, Brick fans. Until next time, enjoy your building and may the bricks be with you.